Pot 1, of course, has the defending champions in PSG, very much in the swing of things there from France. You have Bayern Munich as well, representing Germany. They're the German champions. Real Madrid, representing Spain. Liverpool from England. You do have Inter Milan from Italy. You have Man City also representing England. Arsenal from England. Barcelona from Spain. And, of course, Atletico Madrid. And, yep, the final of the Champions League next season, this season, I should say, will be played next summer or next year at the home ground of Atletico Madrid. Pot 2 has Borussia Dortmund from Germany, Roma from Italy, making a return back to the UEFA Champions League, Sporting Lisbon from Portugal, Aston Villa from England. They are, of course, the Europa League champions. Porto from Portugal. Remember their famous victory under Jose Mourinho far back as 2004. On the other hand, you have Manchester United representing England. They're back again in the Champions League. Club Rouge from Belgium. Real Betis making a return as well from Spain. And, of course, PSV Eindhoven from Netherlands back in the Champions League. People don't remember this, but PSV are actually former European champions in 1988. Yeah. You have Pot 3, Feyenoord from the Netherlands. Lille from France. And, of course, my favorite team, Bodo Glimt from Norway. Napoli, of course, being represented by representing Italy. RB Leipzig from Germany. Villarreal from Spain. Shakhtar Donetsk from Ukraine. Galatasaray from Turkey. Our very own Nigerian international team very much there as well. Fenerbahce as well, also from Turkey. They had an interesting qualifying routes, more famous on social media for going viral. And of course, you have Pot 4 that sees the Viking from Norway. Well, that's quite on nose. You have Bratislava, Slovan Bratislava from Slovakia. They have made history because you have, Yaya Toure representing that club in terms of the manager, and he's the first African to take a team to the group phases of the Champions League. So that's history right there in the making. You can tell that I'll be supporting them as well. Slavia Prague from Czech Republic, Stuttgart from Germany, Lask from Austria, AEK Athens from Greece, Como from Italy, under Cesc Fabregas making their debut, Lens from France, and of course, Sabah from Azerbaijan. So guys, that's it. The pot's complete, done and dusted. Let me get your thoughts on this, Gideon. Which team kind of jumps at you apart from Dortmund?
That's a good one. What pots? Are you going to be more?
Just any pots. Any pots. You could go Pot 1. Okay, let's go Pot 1. I mean, because Pot 1 has like the big boys.
Yeah, in terms of UEFA coefficient, so that's how it's ranked. Pot 1, I'd like to go with the easiest options.
PSG?
Not PSG.
Oh,
not Arsenal. But the team that have made this competition, they are
village
bed of roses or whatever you'd like to call it. They've made this competition theirs. That is Real Madrid.
15-time champions.
Not only 15-time champions, but this is their 30th consecutive season playing in the Champions League. They have rich history in this competition. So this 30th consecutive time, they've won it 15 times. So that means what? They've won it once every other 2 seasons. You're looking at the mathematics.
Yeah, I feel like, in as much as... So there's this mystical force that makes us believe that even if they mystical force that makes us believe that even if they feel their youth team, you will always think that they are contenders. That is that mystical force. Even if they feel their team B, team C, they go to their La Fabrica and bring so long as it's Madrid. So that's why I said that mystical force. However, my only worry or concern is the man on the touchline. Mourinho has not won the Champions League since 2010. He's not won any league since 2015.
Yep. He
spent his last couple of years in Turkey and Portugal.
Even in Italy as well.
We talked about how they brought him to manage the star power. I think Vinny trended online last night for smiling when he was subbed off. Under Abeola, he didn't smile. Under Ronaldo, he didn't smile.
Yeah. They had a conversation.
But Mourinho, he was even smiling. Oh, yeah, I'm happy for coming out.
The narrative about that was because Mourinho wanted him to hear the crowd chant his name.
Absolutely, yeah.
Mourinho was all smiles.
Yeah, to feel it. But I mean, the narrative is that if it's another coach, he won't find it funny because he wants to start the game and finish the game. He doesn't like to be substituted. He throws tantrums. So I think that the man that gave him the job, Florentino Perez, thinks, I believe in Jose Mourinho. So is that enough? The president believing in you because the game has evolved. Like I said, since 2010, he's not won the Champions League. That is about 16 years now. Does he still have that refurbished tactical nous to change games in the final, in the semi-final, where young managers have it up to here?
Let me add something, but different from what you said. I'm sticking with the La Liga team. Speaking of teams that have caught my attention in this, for a number of reasons, different teams in this sport. But Betis, 7 teams have made a reappearance in the Champions League after prolonged absence. Prolonged absence, 2-3 years upwards. Betis haven't played in this competition since the 08-09 season. 17 years Real Betis have been absent from the Champions League. Right now they're back. And look at the squad. There's Isco there, who's played in Champions League.
Anthony.
There's Anthony.
There we go.
And the manager again. Pellegrini. So if you look at this Betis team, I think they could be one of those exciting teams to look at in Champions League because they've not only have they been away for so long, but they have a decent squad, to be able to basically just ruffle feathers.
Yeah, you feel so? That they could like the dark horses, potential dark horses.
I think they will need a slice of fortune.
Kucho Hernandez.
Yeah, they will need a slice of fortune. Oh, sorry. They will need a slice of fortune to actually progress.
Slice of fortune?
Yes.
How big of a slice?
A slice of fortune, a bit of luck. Okay. That's what I mean. To go through, the stardust there could be DJ Spinall.
Who is DJ Spinall, please? Well, on that note, while we are talking about slices of fortunes and DJs, it's still more. We have to go on the break now. Of course, we're looking forward to this one. It's a big night in European football. It is the UEFA Champions League draws, and it's here, of course, on Sporty TV. It's a lovely watch-along. We'll see you guys right after this break.
Hey, baby. I missed you so much. What are you doing right now?
Emeka, I'm in the car now with my family. We are going for lunch. I'll see you in the office on Monday. Yeah.
Sometimes you don't have a way out.
This Emeka is a very funny guy.
With SportyBet, you do. Because with our maximum cash out availability, there's always a way out. SportyBet, winning is now that easy. Before the noise, before the game begins, victories are built on small rituals and the quiet belief that they make perfect sense. The stats check out, the odds line up, every choice feels right. So when it matters most, you're ready to win. M-Sport. Play where you belong.
This is how Benny McCarthy places a bet. With AutoBet on SportyBet, your bet can be automatically placed when your chosen odds are reached. Bet smart. Play SportyBet.
Jose, you need to take care of this one.
Explain yourself.
I saw the welcome offers. I got curious.
Fair enough. Curiosity is normal. Real sports?
Enemies of Casino too.
Show me.
See this. Odds are higher. Here, and here. They look better, yeah.
Better? If they were any higher, you'd need a parachute. Do you know about the rings? Press the button. Can you feel it?
Free bets, raining every single day.
You know who I am, but do you know who you are?
I am football.com.
Louder.
I am football.com.
Louder. Next.
I'm gonna crush you today.
Crushing a 4-time world champion, not today.
Get ready. It's time to race. Play Sporty speed and don't let it crash.
That has to be one of the most iconic anthems in the history of football. It is music to the ears of every single football fan across the world that enjoys the beauty and splendor of the UEFA Champions League. Tonight here on Sporty TV, we do have the draws and we're having a watch along. Myself, Victor Godfrey, in the company of Daisy Michael and Gideon Keshi. All right, that is out of the way. I love the conversation we were having off air. I thought that was quite incredible. Talking about the English team that has the best chance of winning the Champions League. You have in that particular mix United and Chelsea. I'm sorry, I said Chelsea. Arsenal, I apologize. Arsenal. You have Aston Villa. Give you no smile. You have Aston Villa. Just to mention, who do you think wins the Champions League from England? Has the best chance?
I'm trying to stay in character. Please forgive me.
It's so much along.
Tough call. It's hard not to go against Arsenal. I mean, it's hard, really. It's Arsenal. If you're talking about...
They haven't won the Champions League.
Yes, they haven't. But there's just this feeling when you keep knocking around, you knock around the door for so long, at some point it's going to open up to you eventually. Last season, they were very close. They got to the final. And, yeah, Arsenal fans will tell you that they feel it coming. I feel it coming. At some point, it's going to eventually happen for them. The Premier League happened for them eventually because, they've been around, the top position for so long till it eventually fell in place for them. And I feel like the Champions League is also going to fall in place for them. I don't know if it's going to be this season, but if you're talking about the strongest English team in the Champions League this season, it's definitely Arsenal. There's no other name that comes. You might just want to say something, but it's Arsenal.
All right, now I've just been told that, of course, Thierry Henry has drawn Real Madrid in Port 1. Of course, the draws have commenced right now in Monaco. And as you would imagine, Henry has lots of history in the Champions League, winning with Barca. But also, at his time in Barca, he played against Real Madrid in something called the El Clasico. So there's no love lost there between these two. Madrid already drawn from Porto. And I was just talking about quickly the English project this season in the Champions League. Gideon says Arsenal are the odds-on favourites. Either do you agree or disagree? Yes, they are favourites to go farther, even to the final, even to winning the Champions League for the first time. You think it can happen this year? Yeah, because I think the burden to win the Premier League is not really on them. And that could even be an advantage. So they can focus in Europe. However, it's not all smooth and perfect. They have the star dust, a starting 11 that can compete even with the one on the bench. But I feel like they have good attackers, but not elite attackers. Juxtapose their front three to that of Madrid and Paris Saint-Germain. That is their only blot in the copybook. Who is their number 9? But PSG have proven, that you don't need a number 9 to win a I'm talking about all front three. And then I just asked the second question, who is their number 9? But you don't need it to win the Champions League. You may not need it, but your front three, Saka, off and on, inconsistencies here with injury. But look at the man you just mentioned, Vachelia, Dembele, and then we're talking about Doué. These are fearsome attack. And then for Bayern Munich, the combination of Harry Kane and Michael Olise so are we saying Bayern and Luis Diaz. Champions League, sorry. You mean Bayern? Can they win it? Of course, they have it with them to win it, but I feel like the coach still has a lot of work to do because we saw how they were tactically outmaneuvered by Paris Saint-Germain right in front of their own home fans in the backyard. So that is where this experience comes. So he's seen their performance last season. He'll be looking to do better. So Bayern Munich are one of the favorites, but Arsenal's attack, they are in the bracket of good players in Europe, but they're not elite attackers. That is their blood. Let's talk about the Red Devils now, shall we? They're back in the Champions League.
Sorry, what?
Say that again.
Sorry, I was trying to hear. Did you just say Arsenal players can't call them elite attackers?
Yes, you can't call them. Yeah, they're not in the class of Rafinha, Lamine Yamal. They're not in the class of Barcola, Vachelia. They're not in the class of Mbappe and Vini. You can argue. They're not in Saka and the rest of them. They're not in that class. Not even their bench. So that is the factor. I don't know if they're able to perform.
Are you joking?
Go ahead. Tell me if Arsenal have a better attackers than Madrid, Bayern Munich, and Paris Saint-Germain.
Yeah, if you compare man for man, maybe Arsenal obviously do not.
I'm not talking about their midfield. I'm talking about front three.
Obviously, the attacking setup. Yeah, you cannot compare. So that is, but you can't say players aren't elite. Saka, for the life of Saka, has endured painstaking injuries for the last couple of seasons, but the fact that he's still been able to consistently play at the top level, and look at how he started the season again. Arsenal have started brightly in the Premier League. Can you put your money that he's going to stay fit from match day 1 up until the very end? Now it boils down to the team and the management and how they can manage these players' playing time and whatnot. But I would definitely disagree with you. Arsenal attackers we have elite players there. If you compare them to some of their counterparts in Europe, fine. I guess that's where maybe they pale in comparison, but not even by much. Not even by much. And
that fine margins is what define the Champions League. It doesn't have to be much.
But saying,
the fine margins.
But saying they're not elite now, that's
if they had brought in a certain Vinny or Alvarez, and I'm like, yeah, go give them the trophy. They didn't get these players.
That's way too far.
They're behind.
All right, talking about the draws now, I love that conversation. It's quite intriguing. But we do have the fixtures for Manchester City. They will take on Paris Saint-Germain in the first home game. Then they go away to Barca, take on Sporting CP, then go away to Porto, take on Napoli at home, and then they face Leipzig. And then AEK Athens comes up before the final league phase fixture will be against Lens. Man City, with the first two fixtures, Paris Saint-Germain and Barcelona, those are like box office fixtures. Let me get your thoughts on this, Ada. Man City's first two fixtures, PSG and Barcelona, home and away.
With the exodus at the Etihad, with the great, massive talent leaving the club, it's incredibly difficult to predict where Manchester City will be at the Champions League. They have lost two key players, Bernardo Silva and Rodri, that have made 800 appearances for the club combined. And then they lost Pep Guardiola, who is the mastermind. They lost their aura as well. They lost about 11 players.
But they still have Haaland.
So they still have Haaland. Haaland, we know, cannot do it alone. He needs right services. Who are the midfielders that are able to ping the ball to him to score?
Boadi's in the mix.
So this is difficult. And Enzo Maresca's tactical knowledge or whatever I think he is at this level in Europe will be tested to a tilt. Barcelona are so hungry. All of these teams, they are coming for more because they feel like, watch Manchester City play. They've got no aura.
But it's just the first game of the season in England.
And they've gone for the young teenager, Boadi, who I feel like we still have a lot of learning to do.
Yeah.
You know, to be given that Rodri role. He's no Rodri, no, not even Enzo Fernandez. Even if they eventually get Enzo Fernandez, he's no Rodri. They cannot replace Rodri, at least for now.
Now, Gideon, this is Real Madrid. First game, they take on Italian champions Inter Milan. Then the next up, they travel back to familiar foes in recent years now in Arsenal. And of course, they take on PSV up next. They have Roma in the mix, Leipzig, Shakhtar Donetsk, Lask, and of course, AEK Athens. You have this quiet smile, Gideon. It's Real Madrid. First two games against Inter, champions of their respective countries, champions of Italy, and of course, champions of England. Inter and Arsenal, home and away. Real Madrid.
The first two games are going to be very tough fixtures. Inter Milan, have you looked at, how Inter have started the Serie A campaign, with manager Christian Kivu? I think,
the 4-1 against Monza, was it?
Yes, yes.
Goodness.
And if you watch the style of play again, the players they have at their disposal, I think Inter Milan are looking to, create a statement on the continent. And for Arsenal, well, we've been waxing lyrical about Arsenal for so long on the show already. Arsenal will definitely look to start. It's going to be a tough one, really. Real Madrid traveling to...
But last time they played Arsenal, it was quite easy for the Gunners.
Madrid have a good record in London, but again, Arsenal, this new look, it's not going to be very easy at all. PSV, yeah. But Roma could be a tricky side too, because Roma are one of those 7 teams that have been out of the Champions League for a while. Now they're coming back. It's been 7 years since they've been absent from the Premier competition, in Europe. And I'm loving the bromance between Daniel Malen and Paulo Dybala. If they can keep those two players fit, it's going to be a very turbulent time trying to defend against these two and the link-up play between them. So the first 4 fixtures, I'm looking at it for Madrid, it's not going to be easy. Even other teams too, Leipzig, Shakhtar, Lask, and AEK Athens. The last 4 look like easier fixtures, but Madrid and small teams in the Champions League. A couple of seasons ago, they were beaten by Sheriff. Yes. Sheriff is a team that we probably don't even talk about so much, but at some point, a couple years ago, they caused an upset against Real Madrid. So Madrid against smaller teams in Champions League could be a dicey fixture. But I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, I think they have good fixtures there.
Let's quickly roll through the fixture list for the Italian champions in Inter Milan. They take on Liverpool at home. Then they travel to, of course, Madrid to take on Real Madrid, the might of Real Madrid, of course. Then they take on Club Brugge, and then they visit Borussia Dortmund. That's a big game to look forward to. They have, of course, Shakhtar Donetsk in the mix, Feyenoord, Stuttgart, and, of course, Bratislava. This is for Inter Milan, the European champions. Italian champions. Last time they were in the final of the Champions League, they were absolutely smashed by PSG in that final. Even though they had exciting semi-finals against Barca, but the final was just not it. So they've lost to City, they've lost to PSG. Can they finally get it done? First time since 2010.
Very big question. They got so close in 2023, which you spoke about it in the morning.
Yeah.
So they have lost key players.
They've brought in new players.
Denzel Dumfries on.
Curtis Jones.
And they have gone for the English route this time around. John Stones, Jet Spence, Curtis Jones. And for all of the noise about Lautaro Martinez, they managed to keep him. So I think that they can contend, but I'm not sure they still have that clout to go all the way to the final. But I think they can compete. They can get into the semi-final will be a huge project for Inter Milan.
Now, this is my personal pick to win this season's Champions League. It is the Blaugrana in Barcelona. The fixture list is out. And it is Man City at home, of course, first off. And then they take on European champions in PSG away. And then you have Aston Villa, who are also champions of the Europa League. So it's just back-to-back, really, really interesting games. And you have Sporting as well, Lisbon in the mix as well. Feyenoord, Galatasaray, Como, and Saba. Gideon, Barca have quite the fixture list right here. These are all top-level teams.
Very, very, very tough test for Barcelona, once the Champions League starts. The first game is against Man City. Like Adad mentioned, you don't know the version of Man City that's going to appear. That's a team in transition right now. So, that could be a tricky one. But for PSG, well, we know the kind of PSG that's going to appear. And they would be without Barcola, who's agreed,
move to Liverpool, yeah?
Move to Liverpool. That will happen.
But would they even miss him, though?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Because that team is studied. You have talent, across different phases of playing that. This is not going to be easy. And I'm looking at other fixtures. Galatasaray is going to be a tough one.
Yep.
And they're going to be away in Turkey. Have you seen what the Turkish fans can do?
Yeah.
Have you seen how noisy it gets?
The atmosphere.
And again, Galatasaray just agreed to deal with Rafael Leao. So they're strengthening their squad. They have Osimhen, they have Leroy Sané. Now they're going to have Rafael Leao for the Champions League and in other phases too, in the midfield and whatnot. So that is going to be a tough test for Barcelona. Como debutant. The thing about debutants always looking to leave an impression.
Fabregas connection as well. Fabregas, a former player.
Exactly. He played for Barcelona and he's playing this. Saba, on the other hand, is a game I'm sure they would fancy. But, like I said, they have very tough fixtures among the 8 of them.
All right, let's take a look now at the defending champions in PSG, Paris Saint-Germain. Obviously, first game against Barcelona, second game against Man City. They take on Roma, and then they will now take on Europa League champions. Almost like a repeat of the Super Cup final, by the way. Take on Aston Villa. Galatasaray is in the mix as well. And then Villarreal from Spain, Bratislava, and then Como will be the last group league phase game they will have in the Champions League this season. And this is PSG. They're champions. People are expecting them to even go all the way, make it 3 wins out of 3 in terms of winning the Champions League.
We've just had about 3 clubs that have won the Champions League 3 times.
Real Madrid.
In a row.
Yeah.
Ajax, Real Madrid, and the other one just escaped my memory. But they've had a quiet summer window, bringing
That's
in...
PSG you're talking
yeah,
about.
Paris Saint-Germain, the defending champions. As you said, they've had a pretty quiet window. They brought in Ferran Torres and Aklic, and I feel like they just did an addition. And they know that they're still a star-studded team in midfield, of course, in the defense. And when I see Kvaratskhelia, sometimes life doesn't really give you that. Perhaps he doesn't have that sort of Jude Bellingham charisma. He's so lethal. Watching him against Aston Villa in the Super Cup a couple of weeks back, he's such a lethal, devastating player. He's so accurate. The way he finds the back corner, you could think he's your old-fashioned number 9. The way he spreads, he's just an incredible player. Perhaps Ousmane Dembele is taking the shine because he had that clout coming from Barcelona. But the main danger man is Visha Kvaratskhelia.
Yeah. Let's take a look at the record winners now of the UEFA Champions League from England. Liverpool, the Reds, as they're called. First game against familiar foes in Athletic Madrid. It's going to be an interesting one, to be honest. Then they take on Inter Milan up next. And, of course, they have Porto, Club Brugge, Villarreal, Fenerbahce, Lens, and Lens. Gideon, Liverpool, the Reds, the last time they won the Champions League, it was expected, but they will be remembered for winning the Champions League in an era whereby they were not expected to do so. That wonderful game in Istanbul those years ago. Can we have that happen again? The miracle of Istanbul, can it happen? Because Liverpool are not favourites to win the Champions League this year. So
of course, but we talked about the Barcola deal, being agreed earlier today. So that's a positive for Liverpool. But if you look at the fixtures they have, Atletico Madrid, the first game they're going to be at home. It's not going to be easy. Atletico Madrid too. They're a team that can easily cause chaos whenever. Inter Milan, very tough
That's
fixture.
going to be an interesting fixture.
Very tough, and it's an away game, so they're going to be playing in Italy at the Giuseppe Meazza, so it's going to be an extremely difficult fixture for the Anfield Reds. Porto making their return after a 3-year absence. That could easily go either way. Club Brugge, Villarreal, Fenerbahce to another club who haven't played in the Champions League for a very long time. Since the 2008-2009 season, Fenerbahce are a team that have been out of the competition for at least 17 years. I said 17 years. I beg your pardon. It's not that long, but yeah, 11 years. And if you look at it again, Lens, last different teams there,
different profiles.
That could cost. I don't see their fixtures. The first couple of fixtures maybe it could be difficult. Villarreal to an entertaining side. Really, they have attacking talents there, but I just think Liverpool, maybe they should find relative ease navigating
to go through, right?
Yeah. Let me quickly add to the Liverpool conversation. So the Raiola project, I think, is going to need time. It's going to need time because we saw what they did against Newcastle. There's a gaping hole in that midfield, and they have a rest defense issue. And you take all of these vulnerabilities to Europe, they're going to be taught a footballing lesson. But theoretically, there are some players there. But if they're able to fix that gaping hole in midfield, they can go all the way. Coming up against the likes of Lens, they use it to amass their points, and try to go through. I think they will go through. It's not a problem. But the project generally needs time. If they go farther in the Champions League, then it's great. If they don't, then it's horrible for Andoni Raiola.
Well, interesting analysis there. Now, let's take a look at Arsenal, the team that many people believe would make all the difference from the English point of view. First game at home at the Emirates to Real Madrid. Wow, we spoke about this already. You have Bayern Munich away, Dortmund at home, Betis away, Lille at home, Napoli away, Saba at home, and of course, Slavia Prague. This is interesting because I'm thinking to myself, Gideon, look at this. Arsenal, can they do it? Because that's a question mark. They have the unenviable task of being favourites in every competition they play in now. They're that good of a team.
Yeah, but the problem with having that tag on you is that everyone wants to come at you. Everyone feels like they have a point to prove playing against, the bigger teams. And if you look at these fixtures, they're very difficult. The first two are increasingly difficult. Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, and Borussia Dortmund. A team that are having a new look, really. Behind the scenes, they brought in new players. They have a new technical director. So we don't know what version of Borussia Dortmund is going to appear. Real Betis, a team that I mentioned, haven't been in the competition since what? 2006
do you think
season.
Betis will actually have a challenge?
I don't think so. I don't think so. Arsenal are, on paper, better than a number of these teams.
Yeah.
The only teams I would say maybe would give them probably a run for their money, Real Madrid, and just three or so. Real Madrid, Bayern, maybe Napoli. And Napoli, I don't still think, because in terms of technical ability, Arsenal are just better than a number of these sides. So it's going to be tough. It's not going to be easy. Then you now have lesser teams there, Saba and Slavia Praha, to round off that league, the group stage fixtures for Arsenal. But I think, given what we've seen, and given how they're going to start, they're going to have a tough test. But I think if they can navigate those murky waters, maybe they should have relative ease qualifying out of the group.
All right, let's take a look now at Bayern Munich, now German champions. The last time they won the Champions League was in 2020. We all remember the COVID lockdown and that era of football. But here's where it gets interesting. They start off their campaign against Arsenal, the Gunners. Then you have Athletic Club. Moving on to Real Betis. And then familiar foes from back in a different generation and era in Manchester United. Then everybody's favourites, especially my team in Bodo Glimt, Lille, Slavia Prague, of course, the Vikings from Norway as well. So for Bayern Munich, is this a team that can go all the way? Because I think that's what's left now for company. They've conquered Germany. It's now to get that European title. So
for you to, just a bit of scope to how very wonderful the team is and the front attack is that Harry Kane is in the conversation to win the first Ballon d'Or. In a year that we didn't really have the front runners winning any World Cup or any, Champions League treble in their domestic league. So Michael Olise, it took Paris Saint-Germain that one was on another level. We analyzed how terrific Paris Saint-Germain were at the Allianz Arena to be able to overcome them, how they play breathtaking football. They make football so easy under Vincent Kompany. Despite the fact that he's a young manager, you could see that they're a team that want to take opponents from start to finish. They're pressing you high up the pitch. They've got young players running through. Michael Olise with his wizardry, the way so this could be their year.
You think so?
Yeah, this could be their year to win the Champions
That's
League.
a bold claim, though.
This could be their year, yeah.
That's a bold claim.
Could be their year.
All right, with that, we're done with the first parts in terms of the draws here for the UEFA Champions League. We're going to move over now to the second round of draws in terms of the second pot number 2, where you have, of course, Club Brugge. And Gideon, again, Club Brugge, you start off life with Liverpool at home. I don't even know how that is going to be favourable to them. You have Inter, Aston Villa, PSV, Bodo Glimt, Napoli, Lens, and Stuttgart for Club Brugge. I mean, we talk about dark horses. This is now the realm of dark horses. We're done with the favourites. It's not the realm of the dark horses who can pull off a surprise. Is that going to be Club Brugge?
I mean, time will tell.
Come on. Is it a time will tell that you're just being tongue-in-cheek now?
The Belgians are, they've played at the Champions League for the last couple of years, and I think, they're one of those decent sides. But if you look at their first 2 fixtures, extremely difficult. They're going to be at home against Liverpool, away at Inter. And those are tough fixtures that you wouldn't even probably want to be confident enough to put your money on Club Brugge in there. Then you have Villa at home.
I don't agree with him, but let him laugh.
You have Villa at home, you have PSV away,
let him
Bodo Glimt, and you have Napoli, Lens, Stuttgart. Stuttgart, a lot of people have maybe not given Stuttgart another look again, because they're one of the more decent sides from the German Bundesliga, and the attacking talent they have. You have Dennis Sundav, to name a few, and all that. So I think, look, they are difficult fixtures for Club Brugge. Don't hold your breath.
All right, I wouldn't.
Yeah, I think that they are difficult fixtures for them, but I feel like they are one of those clubs that are well run in Europe. They have a way of selling key players without it affecting them. They just sold Christos Solis to Arsenal, who scored about 17 goals for them. The only blot is that they may miss his firepower.
Yeah, but this is European football.
This is not the first time they're losing that. You got Thiago, Anthony Nusa. All of these players have left the club in the last couple of years, but they still found a way to be competitive. Don't be surprised if the rest of the youngsters they have at the moment coming through their model system will spring surprises.
So you feel
they will be there to be giant killers. They will be there to stifle. They will be there to bloody illustrious noses.
Wow, I don't know. Do we clap for you for saying that? How long do you have that in your chamber?
Oh, it's always been there.
All right, now let's talk about Dortmund.
Okay.
Inter Milan at home, Arsenal away, Real Betis, Aston Villa, Villarreal, Bodo Glimt, AK Athens, and of course Saba. Borussia Dortmund have this record of always getting to the semi-finals of the finals of the Champions League, but somehow they lose. The last time they won it was in 1997. Gideon, I don't know about that. Let me get your thoughts on this.
Ooh. When I remember how they got beat by Madrid a couple of years ago,
Champions League,
in the final.
In the final,
we know that. Gideon.
He's a fan.
They also lost to Dortmund and to Bayern Munich.
Yeah. So if I remember that, actually. So, and they've lost a couple of players as well. Fufu, Karim Adeyemi, I beg your pardon, has left the club. But they have a new sensation. Job Bellingham as well coming through.
The individual with massive.
I think it's a team that can pop up, and they are not consistent. You don't know the day that Borussia Dortmund would actually pop up. So in Champions League, I think that they can still play their compact football like we saw in the Bundesliga. Yeah. But the projects were but there's a team I want to talk about. Saba. So Saba is actually the youngest team in the Champions League this time around. Yeah. Just 9 years old.
Debutants.
Since 2017. And they've actually punched above their weight, the excitement and all. So we want to see these good stories, these romantic stories. Their coach, talking about Vardas Brombaski, he appeared on a quiz show recently to raise money for his coaching badge. These are stories, incredible stories that we want to see in the Champions League, but they're up for it. That group is dusted.
Well, obviously, at this point in time, there's still the draws for the second pot. And let's say it's quite extensive. Let me just piggyback on one that kind of interests many football fans here in Nigeria, but of course also in England. I was going to say here in England. We're in Lagos, by the way.
You never know. We could be in England soon.
We're in Lagos.
Yeah, you're speaking into the future. I bet we could be in England soon.
We're in Lagos, by the way. You're not in England, not in London. It is Manchester United. Of course, they are jumping out to pot 3, but let's quickly just touch on Manchester United. You have Bayern Munich, Atleti, Roma, Sporting CP, Leipzig, Villarreal, Saba, and Como. Gideon, United back in the big leagues. Are they going to make it through? It says
You have, I'm looking at Bayern Munich at home. The last time United played in Champions League 3 years ago, they were in the same group with Bayern Munich.
Yeah.
And it was a very entertaining,
I think Onana kind of got the headlines.
Onana took the headlines for the wrong reason.
Yeah.
You have Atletico Madrid, that could be a KG1, Roma, Sporting, Leipzig, Villarreal, Zaba, and Como. So very interesting fixtures. A couple of them, 4 of them home. So Bayern, Roma, Leipzig, and Zaba at home. These are fixtures that are not going to be easy. And given how poorly United began their Premier League season, you don't know.
Isn't it just one game?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just one game.
It's like they lost 5 in a row.
Also, he has to bring that out.
But United are a team.
It's just one game defeat.
No, it's not just. It's the opponent on the day. He had to bring it out. It's very important he did.
United are a team in transition. You don't know what version would appear, but with the signings they've made and the decent work they've done in the transfer window, United fans would hope that everything, the puzzles begin to fit together and it works out. But this Champions League group is not going to be easy, and their fixtures again, how they are starting life back in the Champions League, it's very clear they're going to be playing with the big boys again. And what better way to announce that than a home fixture against Bayern Munich?
Let me quickly add to Man United the fact that they've actually added midfield to that department to complement the attack better than last season. But the question is, how good is that defense? And then the long debate of, is it wise to give Michael Carrick the job on full time?
Well, those questions shall be answered eventually, obviously. It's still the UEFA Champions League draw. Watch along here on Sporty TV. We shall return from a break, and when we come back, it's still more. The Champions League draw is going on, and we still have more to dissect in terms of fixtures and the groups. You know, let's say the group standings now, if you will, from pots 1, 2, 3, eventually, and we'll see how things pan out. But we'll be right back after this break. More here on the UEFA Champions League draw. Watch along. Stick with us.
I'm gonna crush you today.
Crushing a 4-time world champion, not today.
Get ready. It's time to race. Play Sporty speed and don't let it crash.
Before the noise, before the game begins, victories are built on small rituals and the quiet belief that they make perfect sense. The stats check out, the odds line up, every choice feels right. So when it matters most, you're ready to win. M-Sport, play where you belong.
This is how Benny McCarthy spends halftime, multiplying the excitement while the match takes a break. Play Sporty's skill and discover casino games on SportyBet. Bet smart. Play SportyBet.
Jose, you need to take care of this one.
Explain yourself.
I saw the World Cup offers, and I got curious.
Fair enough. Curiosity is normal. Real sports?
Enemies of casinos too.
Show me.
See this. Our odds are higher here, and here.
They look better, yeah.
Better? If they were any higher, you'd need a parachute. Do you know about the rings? Press the button. Can you feel it?
Free bets, raining every single day.
You know who I am, but do you know who you are?
I am football.com.
Louder.
I am football.com.
Louder. Next.
We are many nations, but only one heart.
United by pride.
By football.
By heritage. By passion. By Africa. This is our game. Our bet.
This is Sporty Bet.
Welcome back to our studios. This is part of the UEFA Champions League draw watch along here on Sporty TV. We're just going to go right on. As of right now, I've seen Leipzig with their fixture. The draws are still going on right now. I'm seeing Thierry Henry, David Villa, legends of the game. Obviously, they are Champions League winners. They're still picking up from pot 3. Villa just picked out a certain... We'll see the result right now. Let's take a look at this. It is... Is that Fenerbahce, I see?
Fenerbahce.
Fenerbahce. All right. Let's see who they have. Now, obviously, Fenerbahce are going to be taking on Liverpool, Atleti, Roma, Aston Villa, Villarreal, and, of course, Shakhtar Donetsk. Ada, Fenerbahce are back in the big time. By the way, for Nigerian football fans, JJ once played for Fenerbahce back in the day. So just putting it out there. There's a connection in there. Even Yobo, too, as well.
Yeah, I think after the Mourinho's exit, they've invested in quite a number of key players. That is making the Turkish look quite competitive now. So I think there could be those dark horses, not to get to the final.
You know,
not dark
Turkey
horses
have been dark horses for the last 4 years.
Yeah, they're getting there. If you look at their summer signings in every club, talking about Besiktas, Galatasaray themselves.
So just to add, you have Slavia Prague and Lask to just add to the list of fixtures for Fenerbahce. So that's just, I mean, dark horses. I'm sure they're tired of hearing that. Still the pot 3. We think, let me see who Villa is going to pick in this time around. I have a feeling it's going to be a Dutch team, but I could be wrong.
Feyenoord.
Oh, Dutch team, Feyenoord.
Why did you predict that?
Oh, I can see the future. There's a crystal ball.
I think that for Feyenoord, they'll be fried.
By Inter, Barca,
by
Porto,
everybody.
Betis, Leipzig.
So, yeah, they have made it to the Champions League, no doubt. But remember last season, the Dutch outfit didn't cover themselves in the glory. All of the clubs, none of them got to the knockout stages. And they, Feyenoord, finished 19 points behind eventual champions, PSV. And the Dutch league, actually, right now, is termed weaker. It's not like those days they had Ajax, when Erik ten Hag was there, things, were happening for them. So that tag of being a weaker league could be the factor where everyone just roll over them.
Oh, okay, let's take a look at this now. It is still pot 3. Gideon, get ready. David Villa is about to pull out a team. Galatasaray. Dark horses. Victor Osimhen, he's taking on Barca, PSG, Aston Villa, Sporting CP, Feyenoord. Of course, they're still going to have a few more additions to this one. But from Galatasaray's point of view, Gideon, Henry presses the button. Let's see the extra teams. They have Lille, Stuttgart, and AEK Athens from Greece. Gideon, this is not a bad draw for Galatasaray, right? Is it?
Really isn't.
We did fixtures in there.
Yeah, definitely. If we can navigate, Barcelona, PSG, and the rest.
So leave the first 3. Let's start from Sporting downwards.
And we talked about and announcing the deal for Rafael Leao. Leao is a big talent who's going to be playing in Galatasaray. They have Victor Osimhen, Leroy Sané, some players in key positions also. And if you notice, like what Ada has mentioned, the Turkish league has been very busy with recruitment this summer.
Yes, they have.
A lot of talent. You might say some of them are past their prime, but again, given what they've done and also Victor Osimhen leading the line, I think you just want to look at Galatasaray as one of the teams to entertain a lot in this season's Champions League.
Now, Napoli, of course, have Arsenal, Man City, Club Brugge, Porto, Bodo Glimt, and of course Villarreal. Henry presses the button. You have the Vikings coming through, and of course Saba for Napoli. Italians have had good history in the Champions League, but apart from Inter and AC Milan, in recent years, or maybe Juve, nobody outside of that big 3 have actually gone further down the pecking order in terms of getting far. Can Napoli do it this season?
Big question. They were the runners-up last season in their league, and I don't think they've really made any impression in Europe. I think they got close to winning the Europa League in the 1980s.
No, they did. It's with Maradona.
It's 1989, I beg your pardon. Other than that, I'm not sure they have really been that heavyweight that teams will probably look at. And
hold up, just before you add to that, Gideon, let me just talk about Lille now, because Lille takes on Bayern Munich, Arsenal, Real Betis, Roma, Galatasaray, Bodo Glimt, Bratislava, and of course Stuttgart. These are the French contingent, if you want to use that term. But you were talking about Napoli not being good enough since Maradona's.
Yeah, but I think that now that Allegri has replaced abrasive Antonio Conte, he could bring in that fresh energy, belief around the camp. And but I don't see them making that huge, surprising impact. They'll just be in and about that. But let me quickly talk about Lille Metropole. For the fact that they have relied so much on Olivier Giroud, who's going to be 40 very soon, and they've lost their key young midfielder, Boadi, to Manchester City, their chances of going further looks remote in the Champions League.
All right, now.
I was only going to mention that, one of the games that is going to excite me from that Napoli's